I had wrote on a piece of paper years ago, I want to be one of the best trainers in the world. In order to do that, you have to work with the best players in the world. And so that motivation was, well, damn, here's a chance, man. Kobe Bryant is in LA. Man, you better take this job. And really, for me, it became the challenge, P, of can I earn his respect as a trainer? The things that I do and the things that I teach, will it quantify and will it resonate with one of the best players to ever play the game? Mm-hmm. And so that was the challenge. That was really the baseline of why I said, you know what? Yes, I'm interested. Give me an opportunity. And Mike Brown hired me. And the first day on the job, he just told me, so listen, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure all these dudes are working. And at the time, the Lakers hadn't really had, quote unquote, a player development coach before. So I was kind of like their first, me and Darvin Ham, we were kind of like their first true. I know Craig Hodges was like a shooting coach for them, but we were like their first true full-time player development coaches in 2011. And that whole opportunity, man, was just built around, can I build a relationship with Kobe? And, you know, here we are 13 years later. But that part of it, I had to figure out a way to build a relationship with him. I had to figure out a way to earn his trust. And the advice that B. Shaw gave me about not letting him punk me, man, that resonated with me because Kobe was a dude that would test people. He would just test you just to see if you would stand up for yourself in any kind of fashion. And so when I got hired, man, he would come out of the locker room because obviously, you know, he'd be there early. He would be in at 5 a.m. He had got his work in. You know, I would start working out with guys at 8 o'clock. We practice at 10. He would stick his head out of the training room and watch for like a minute, and then he would go back in. And he did this for like a week straight before. And then finally one day, I was out there on the court. He just walked out of the training room and jumped in the drills. And he literally, I was like, okay, all right, well, let me make sure I got my shit right.
Yeah.
He jumped in the drills and, you know, I was showing stuff and he was in cold fashion. He was like, okay. He would go through the drills. So he stayed out there with us for about 15 minutes, broke a sweat, and then he left and went back in the training room. Maybe a few days later, man, he shot me a text and said, hey, meet me at the gym at 5 o'clock. And that's how our relationship started. Wow. From that, just what I really took from it, Pete, is one, I think he respected my work ethic. I was always there early. I always stayed late. I was always on the court with whoever wanted to be on the floor. And he respected my work ethic as a rookie coach. He saw what I was doing. He saw that I understood the nuances of what I was teaching. And I think our first workout, you know, Kobe, he was a dude that really knew what he wanted, right? He was 17 years in. He was already Kobe Bryant. Man, my very first question to him was, man, look, how can I help you get better? Where can I help you? What things you want to work on? Yeah. And he was very precise. I want to continue to get better with my ball handling. I want to keep sharp with my footwork and continue to work on my separation on my jumper. And he knew what he wanted. And so that made it a whole lot easier for me to really try to dive in and just collaborate with him in terms of just helping him continue to be who he was, man.
Did you kind of have like a preset idea of going into the situation of like, all right, obviously we know Kobe is well-rounded and can do every and anything on the court, but did you kind of have taken that job, have a kind of preset idea of like, all right, if I get Kobe in a training setting, this is what I want to work on with Kobe? Or was it, you know, just kind of, was it the direction you needed? Was Kobe telling exactly what I need? And then now you got your wheel spinning to kind of deliver to him?
Well, when I knew that I had the opportunity to get the job, I did my own research on the whole team. I had made my own mock-ups on every player of just what I saw, their strengths, their weaknesses, and just areas that if I had a chance to work with them, what would I do? And the biggest thing I saw with Kobe was he was such a vertical player. Kobe was one of the people like you guys are very vertical, right? But you're able to use your verticality to get people off balance and drop down into a low stance. And one of the things I told to him when I first started working with was like, Kobe, you're so vertical and you're long. I want to help you condense your handle and become a little tighter and use the width of your body to become sharper with your handle. I remember the first time I said that to him, he was just looking at me like, mofo, what does that even mean?
Right. Right.
And so I had already done my research with video and film. So I showed him a couple of things and he was like, okay, that makes sense. And just, that was really the only thing for him, because he was so, like, I thought I was good at footwork. Man, that was a whole nother master class when I was working with him. And just as I always tell people all the time, and as coaches, it's not just us teaching as players, man. You guys teach me. I learned so much from all of you guys in the sense of just understanding. You already kind of know your nuances. So let me learn from you the things that you do well to where I can help accentuate your game. And man, he was gracious. I asked a lot of questions. He asked questions and I asked a lot of questions in the sense of just, Cole, why do you do this? Because he would get in his workouts and he would stay in one spot for 45 minutes. Like, P, just imagine you go to your
moves
workout
after moves, huh?
And you go to the left block, P, and you're just there for 45 minutes and you just repping out a turnaround jump shot for 45 minutes and in a full sweat. I never trained like that. And so I was like, man, the mental capacity that you have to have for that is people don't understand that. And he would be in a full on sweat after that 45 minutes of just being in one spot.
That's comparable with Kawhi, man. That's why when I seen Kawhi work, like, I've never got the chance to work with Cole, but working out with Kawhi on a one-on-one setting, and it was like, I get what people say about Cole. Like, I've never trained like this. Kawhi would go to one spot, 25 makes. I'm thinking, all right, cool. We're going to go to the other side. No, it's a different move. It's a counter, P.
You sound just like him. You sound just
what
like
you gonna
him.
do if they do this then? So it's 25 makes another move, and then it's a counter off that. And I'm like, damn, like, I've never trained like this. Like, this is like, I get why you're special and you can get to your spots and you're a rep guy and I get it. So I can only imagine what it was like with Cole, man.
And P, he would be
that's like, impressive.
As a coach, you had to be in shape to work out with him because he would beat you. He would beat you up. Like it was full on. Like, yeah, nah, mofo, don't get tired. Don't get tired now. Like,
oh my God.
He wanted to feel the contact. He wanted to feel your body. He wanted to feel to where he can really work on his counters in an instinctual manner. And it was a masterclass for me. Like I said, because to that point, I had never trained like that either. And so he was, some days he was like, all right, P, I need to do this. And then some days he was like, boom, I'm not moving from this spot. So he was one of those dudes where he kind of knew what he wanted. Some days he wanted a little bit more freedom. And then other days he was just like, nah, I need to be right here. I'm not moving. I need to mat. And the first time I asked him, I was like, explain that to me, Cole. Like, and so his response was, man, listen, I want to be able to get to this spot on the floor. And that doesn't matter who's guarding me, how many defenders. If I get to this spot, it's a bucket. I wanted to feel like the fabric of my skin to where I can close my eyes on this spot on the floor and make this shot because I repped it out so many times and I know what it feels like. And it made sense. It made sense, man.
That's impressive, man. That mindset is impressive.
Well, I want to know, you mentioned that you would ask questions, he would ask questions, and I could imagine, like you said, you want to be one of the best coaches or trainers ever, and you get this opportunity to go work with Kobe. I want to know like a detailed time of something you did learn. And then simultaneously, I'm curious if there was ever a time where your training philosophy didn't line up with Kobe's. And was there ever any of this with philosophy? Because I could imagine you coaching for so long, Kobe being who he was there anything that he was just like, Phil, you're wrong on this one? this is how you do it. I want to know what that was and how that conversation went.
Man, dude, that's a great question. So the first thing I learned from him, we were working on some post-ups. He was working on the left block, and he caught the ball one time, and he kicked my feet. Like, Pete, just imagine you're on the left block, and your defender's behind you, and you catch the ball, and he took his left foot, his inside foot to the post, and he kicked my foot out. He kicked my foot out of the way, and I lost my balance.
Yeah.
And as he kicked my foot, he planted and he turned and shot a fadeaway. And I was like, yo, bro, I was like, what are you doing? He was like, yeah, mofo, you can't contest. and when I say he had so many tricks, like he literally kicked my foot out the way and I was off balance and he spun. I was just like, yo, you got to teach me that one. You got to teach, you have to teach me that. And it was like, that was one of the first things that I learned. I was like, oh, this is next level. And then there was one day where we were doing some ball handling and I wanted him to do 2 ball handling. And he was like, man, get out of here. I'm not doing that. He was like, I don't dribble with 2 balls in the game. What is this for? And he challenged me. He was like, man, I'm not doing it. I said, Cole, this is really good. Man, I don't want to hear it. You want me to work on my left hand? I'll work on my left hand. You want me to work? And he was adamant. He was like, we don't play the game with 2 balls. I'm not dribbling with 2 basketballs. I was like, all right. And so, you know what he did? He said, all right, mofo, give me the bat. He took both the basketballs, closed his eyes, and started dribbling with his eyes closed. I was like,
hey, stubborn dude, man.
Hey, listen, he was not trying to hear it with the 2 ball handling.
Oh man, that's funny. Cold, man.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 5 million members across the country, it is the most fun and exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and players.
All you got to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed.
So if you think Justin Jefferson will continue to get more targets, Prize Picks has you covered on every option.
So guys, go download the app today and use our promo code PODCASTP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So you can finish the football season by downloading the app today and using our code PODCASTP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.